Okay, so hello everyone again. Long time no see. Hope everyone is great since from like the morning. So today we will be talking about HR from like end-to-end experience. We will be talking about like performance management, employee management, and like leave management and stuff, like an end-to-end HR process. So let me start by sharing my screen. And it's like just in like any other cloud that we have in HR, we also give you an end-to-end experience for that as well. So we have many different modules in HR. We have like the performance ones, just like 360 and OKR. We have like advanced management, and we have like the recruitment side for recruitment. And we also have like assets, leave, and travel management. So it's like a really an end-to-end experience. We will be starting with the employees module, which held all the employees that are created in your database. So I have all my employees listed here with like the title of their account, title of their like jobs, their names, their phone numbers, and email addresses. So first, let's start with the setting part in the employees. So when we go to the settings, like it's short but simple. So for your company, you can define your working hours. Whether you work like standard 40 hours, 35, 38, you can define it and you can make it for your own, whether you start the working day at 8 or 9, and you can choose your time zone there, which will also applicable, like the global leaves will come here, such as like for Turkey, we have like the Victory Day, or like religious holidays and etc. So all the global leaves will also be here. So it is also important when they try to make a leave requests or the times that you're not working. So you can define your company working hours from here. If you also would like to see the organizational chart like a little on the right, I will show you. You can also enable this setting. So you can also have access to a small organizational chart on the employee cards as well. And when I first opened the employees app, you see like we have like some checklist progresses. So you can enable them from here to follow up the onboarding processes of the employees. And if you're going to use the assets management, you can enable it from here, which will install the asset management app. And you can use it both in help desk and also in HR Cloud. And for e-learning, if you want to like create some courses, just like we're sharing some courses with you through e-learning, we also use that. So you can enable the e-learning and it will install the relevant e-learning app. And for the HR employee portal, let's say there is some information that should be given from like the employee side. Instead, the HR come here to the backend and update it. Instead of that, you can enable the HR employee portal and let's say their home address changed, their passport number changed, or something like that. So they can go to the portal interface. They don't have to access the backend side. So they can have a portal account. As you know, like there are like different user types, like portal user and like internal user. So they can log in as a portal user in the like the front end side, and they can update that information by themselves with the defined like fields that you have configured. So you can enable it for your employees to update the information by themselves without HR to handle that. So these are all the settings in the employee app that we will cover. It is again very short and simple. And next, under setting, we have the employee tags. So we have tags in many different ways. So you can have different employee tags. And after that, you can use it during your 360-degree appraisals. You can send these appraisals only with the tags as specialists or as managers, directors. So you can define different employee tags. For the employee activities, you can define different employee activities, and I will be showing you on the employee card. You can use them whether like there's a department change for that employee. You can also track them on the employee card, whether there's a promotion for them, or again, there's like a department change. They were in the sales and they moved to the marketing, or they were like junior sales manager, now they're a senior sales manager. So you can define different employee activities, and you can have it checked, like update the department or the job position, so you can keep track of those activities for your employees as well. And you can also use it for like more like offboarding, so you can have some termination reasons, whether they have like changed the company or um, other like termination reasons that you would like to add. And then for the languages, you can add like different languages there, and you can define on the employee cards, you can define the language as well. And for schools and universities, if you would like to add that as like experiences, you can also add the institutes, the universities from here, and you can use them on the employee cards. And same for the faculties as well, just like schools and like faculty departments. You can also add them from here to use on the employee cards, and like degrees like graduate, bachelor, master's, doctoral, or any other degree that is like important for your country. You can add that from here, and you can put them on the employee card or on the recruitment card itself when you're doing recruitments. You can also add some contract types if you have different contract types like worker, subcontractor, employee. You can also create and use them from here, and then you can follow up them from the contracts here. And then we have the entry and exit checklist. So as I said, when I open the Kanban, we have like an entry progress checklist here. This is where you configure the entry and exit checklists. So you can say when there's like an onboarding for the company, what are the important documents that you need to collect? Or what are the important documents during offboarding to hand it over back, like the office keys, like the laptop. For the entry, you define the entry ones, and for the exit checklist, and you define the ones that you're getting back from the employee, so you can keep track of those as well from here. And then the employee portal that I mentioned, if you have enabled this one in the settings part, it will add like as a new submenu here. First, you need to define some employee portal groups. What I mean by employee portal group is that it's not like an access right, but rather, so let me show it from here. So you say the personal information, emergency contact information. So you define some like general groups, and then you go to the employee portal field, and you say for personal information part, like the section, the group I mean is that like this is the personal information group, this is the emergency contact information group. So it's making like groups to divide them on the user interface. And then you say for personal information, I would like to have their first name, last name, mobile, home address, marital status, whether they are divorced or married. And for emergency, I want to have the contact degree, whether it's their mother, their wife, their spouse, their daughter, and their mobile. And I also want to get their date of birth. So you define what information you would like to collect from your employees on the portal interface side. So you can define them from here. And when an employee opens their account in the portal, they can view and edit those information by themselves as well. So you don't have to keep track, or when there is a change in their marital status, they can update it immediately by themselves. And so this is all we have in the configuration part. Do we have any questions? I think everything's good. Okay, then, so as I said before, when we open the employees, we will be seeing a list of all the employees that we have. So let me open one of them. So this is the card for like Andrew. As you can see, we have the organization chart listed here since we have enabled in the settings. So we are seeing a small organizational chart, which we can see how many direct subordinates, how many in total. So we can also click and see those as well. And on the employee card, we get all the information that is relevant to an employee, such as like their attendance, their timesheets, their contracts, how many leaves they have left in hours, in days, whether are there any appraisals for this employee, are there any advances, or are there any documents that are relevant to this employee. So you can keep track all of those here. And for the work information part, you can see the work address, the email, the work phone. As you can see with App Builder, you can also add different fields, which we add like a shoe number. Maybe it's like important for you, for your employees. You can also add your own custom fields with App Builder. And then when we come here, we need to, of course, select our department. Either you can create it from here, or you can create it in the departments as well. So we choose our department and which job position as this person has. So Andrew with the marketing specialist, again, you can either create it from here, or you can create it in like the job positions part, and then you can add it from here. So it's both applicable. And then from here, we choose the manager. So based on what you have chosen here, the organizational chart is updating itself. So it is important to choose the right person there. And for the coach, it doesn't affect the organizational chart, but it's rather like a mentor, a coach. So it's not, it's like only just for like a feel, like visuality. You can also set it. You can also say, no, this person is a manager. So you can also check this box so the system know that it's a manager. And from here, you can choose the expert level. As I showed you, we have some employee tags, and this is where you can select them from here, whether this person is a specialist, manager. And as I said, during your 360-degree appraisals, like performance appraisals, you can select, I will send this appraisal to the expert level who has like manager. So it will be only sending the surveys, the performance appraisals to expert level that is labeled as manager. So you can also use for segmentation as well. And on the employee card, you can also define, as I said, a general working hour for your company. So it's better to position the working hour for your company like the for the majority, but you always have the chance to define working hours individually for your employees as well. Let's say 10 people are working 40 hours, but other like 3 person are working like 32 hours a week. So you can define different working hours for your employees as well. And you can change their time zone. And for the resource, of course, it is like the Andrew. So the resource is like it's getting like the correct leave management and stuff to be calculated. So the resource is chosen, the working time, and what is their time zone. So it's important also to choose the resource as well. And we have like some like badges here, so you can have like grant a badge to this employee, and what are you thankful for, and you can describe why did it matter and stuff. So this is more like a challenge, like gamification part. And then of course the private information. So for these tabs, we know that CloudOffix is working based on permissions. So you always have the chance to make it invisible. So the private information won't be shown to other employees, but let's say only to HR managers or like the general managers of the company. So you can always make it invisible based on some permissions. But basically, this is where you can define the private information, their like work permit, birth, status of like marital status and stuff. And for the HR settings, you can have a timesheet cost per hour. So when they enter the timesheets, it is calculated um, based on the hour that you have written here. So you can also define some timesheet costs for that employee. And you can have an expense responsible. So when this person submits an expense, who will be the responsible to take care of it? And then we know from our meeting in the morning, we know that related user is important. If you're going to assign activities to this person or allocate resources with resource allocation or give some, like we will assign some tasks in a project to this person. So it has to have a related user. So this field should be filled. And if they have like a medical exam, you can add it like homework distance and their leave and start dates as well. So it will calculate the total employment time. And for the checklist part, as you have shown before, we have the exit, entry, and exit checklists. So that is where it is coming from. So let's say they provided the identity card. As you can see, the entry progress goes. They have the bank account, they have their resume, passport, but they do not have a health check yet. So you can come here and tick all these documents. And for the exit checklist, same. They give the company ID, but not the office keys. And the entry checklist works like that as well. When you add a document from here, you can say, this is an identity card, or this is a resume, this is a passport copy. So when you add the document, it will automatically will be checked on the other side from here. So it's also working both ways. And for the assignment part, this will list all the assigned assets to this person. What is the date, usage status, and etc. Let's say like it will be like laptop, mouse, keyboard, whatever asset that you have assigned to this person. And for the allocation, you can have different allocation times for your employees for resource allocation, basically. It's either will be getting the information from like the general working hours, or it can also, if they have like an individual allocation time, the system will detect it from here. So you can have different allocation times for your employees. And this is where the employee activities are coming. So now this Andrew is like marketing specialist, but now he's like marketing manager. So you can also say it's a promotion. On this date, department is marketing, and now his job position is now marketing manager. And you can save it. And now, as you can see, Andrew is now the marketing manager, and you can keep track all of these promotions, everything that you have defined in the activities from here. And you can add the languages that we have added here. Which languages does Andrew speak? And then for education, same thing. What is their degree? What is their school? So you can keep track of these if you would like. And for the work experience, you can add like the company that he worked before. What is the title? What is the termination reason that he left? So you can keep track of all of these on this little card. And what else we can do is that on this card is we can assign some assets if we have the right permissions, or we can unassign the assets that we already allocated. So we just click assign asset. And in our database, the assets that we have created will be listed, and we can select, we will allocate a Logitech keyboard, keyboard 1 with the serial number. And then we can say, okay, also create a form for me. So we can hand it over to Andrew for him to sign. So the system also generates an asset handover form for you, just like it with the serial number and everything. So both parties can sign it when handing over the asset. So that is everything that we can do for the employee card. Do we have any questions until now? Okay, I think no. Everything's good. Yes, please.
Yes, I have a question, Salai. If employee works part-time, so it's we have to configure that for each employee themselves, huh? One global working hours, and then the employee working hours for himself. Is that
Yes,
correct?
for
Yeah.
yes, you can have a general working hour for your company, and you always have the chance to make it individually. Let's say Orazio works 40 hours, but Ardem works 30 hours a week. So you can define separate working hours, each of your employees.
Hmm. And the
But
working
to
hours
define, pardon.
is dependent on the time in the week or each day. So, for example, one employee is working 4 days a week, and the other one is all 2 weeks a day off, for
Yeah.
example. So 90%,
Um,
how we can manage that?
so it is always more logical to define working hour, like let's say majority works 40 hours, define a company working hours as 40, and like the other ones that are like more exceptional, you can define it from here, and from like the working hours you can say no, he's not working on Friday evening, or he's working until 15. So
Mhm.
you can always define them. You can change the time zone if they're working in different time zone. Someone's in
Okay.
Istanbul, someone is in Germany. So you can always have that customization as well.
But I
Okay.
suppose we can make more than one standard and choose one as per employee, right? Not always change everything. So if we have, for example, uh, 4 days
Mod
working employee always on Friday off, then you can make one configuration for that.
Yeah.
And everybody who doesn't work Fridays have the same configuration.
Yeah. We you can define it like manually, but also what we're doing also in like CloudOffix is that of course, it's always have the chance to do it with coding as well in like more backend side.
Yeah.
But definitely you can do that. So everyone
Okay.
can have their own times, own days, own time zones.
But we have only one standard definition. We cannot have many standards for different
Um,
percent of
or yeah,
working.
for like as default, you can only select one working
Okay.
hour. But for like as individual as employees, you can define as many as you would like. Let's say all of you are working at different times. You can define different working hours for each of you, working days for each of you, like different time zones.
The
Okay.
question probably
But for like as general as a company, you have one working hour.
okay, but we can if I configure for one employee 4 days and it's always off on Friday, a configuration that configuration can I use for other employees as well, or do I have to make for each employee separate?
You can do it like you have to do it separately, but from here you can do it like manually. But what we're doing is that you can do it with coding on the backend side if you know how to do it.
Yeah. Okay.
You can do it with like more like with like automation,
Okay.
so it can be applicable for other employees who are also working, not working on Fridays.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Is it possible to take this information from the Outlook calendar, for example?
We have
Outlook.
integrations with like Outlook, so you can definitely have your calendar Outlook calendar or iCal. Um, we have integrations with those. So on the calendar side, we have the relevant integrations that you can do it with like iCal, and also like in the configuration with like the Teams and other calendar integrations. So when someone's off or like takes a leave request, it will be on the calendar. And if you have the right integration, that they're integrated.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Then for the recruitment part is that the employee request. So it can like the recruitment can be both like start like internally with like a request. Let's say I'm a manager and I want to I decide that I have a need of a HR specialist for the HR department, and I want like 2 HR specialists. And since I'm logged in as admin, I need to select the requested by. But let's say Andrew, and I want it to be this date. I want the expert level as like a manager or like a specialist, so I can have all these. And then we can have like a deadline for this. So we can also have an employee request that is started internally. So on the HR side, we're saying I need an employee. Please, the manager approve, HR approval, and we can start the recruitment process. So basically you're requesting an employee to recruit for your department. So this is where you start the request process. Also, you can do it like directly on the recruitment as well without needing to request an employee from here first. And for the contracts, this is where you can manage them. So you can see the running contracts that you have, the contracts that needs to be renewed or that are expired. And you can see like what is the salary and what is the department, the position, what is the contract type and everything. And you can have the start and end dates. Like if there's a trial period, you can say it, and like what is the working schedule. So you can have, you can keep track of your contracts. If you'd like, you can say before, like 1 month before the expiration date of this contract, send me a reminder. So you can also have some actions that are like defined on these contracts as well. And for the challenges part, as I said, this is more like a gamification. You can have like some badges to grant to your employees, and you can have some challenges, like more fun part, and you can have like some goals, like some rewards. And this is more for like a gamification part, and you can keep track of the goal history from here. So this is like for like an internal gamification. And then we have the departments. So this is where we can create departments, and we can see also how many allocation requests for that department, how many leave requests for that department on these little cards. And when I open it, I will be seeing like the relevant employees that are in that department. So if I open the HR, I will be seeing like the HR manager and HR specialist. And when we're creating a new department, it is like all we need is like department name, whether there's a parent department, whether it's like a sub-department of a department, we can also select that. And we can select who is the manager for this department. So we can also create our departments from here. And we have the organizational chart, which is like very dynamic also as well. You can close it, you can open it, and then you can play with it, and it will update automatically when you change manager as well. So it will be updated when you have made a change. And also if I have this here, okay, I have it here. So we have a little button here. So when I click on it, you can also say I want to see 2 levels, and I want to see, I don't know, with their place of birth and also like their country. So you can select which information you would like to display on the card. And I say, okay, since there are no information, but basically you can also select which information you would like to see on these fields in your organizational chart, whether I want to see it by their start date. And as you can see, the start dates are displayed. So you can play around with it and narrow it down and decide what you want to see on the organizational chart. Do we have any questions regarding employees? Yes, please.
Yes, the organization chart. May I export this as a file or as a bitmap or something?
You can save the screen, but I don't think it's possible right now to export it. But let me ask if we have an option like that
Okay.
for you to export.
Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions? Okay. And now let's move on to the recruitment then. So with the recruitment app, you can manage all your recruitment processes end to end, also with AI. So as AI, we have the autonomous agents like CV scoring, as I mentioned, and AI interview. So you can have all your HR processes like run through CloudOffix. We also have integrations with LinkedIn as well. So you can also post your job on LinkedIn if you have the right integration, if you have configured the integrations with the APIs and stuff. So you can also publish your job in your internal website, but also on LinkedIn as well. So for LinkedIn, we don't have the easy apply, but what we do have is you post your job internally on the website, you post it on LinkedIn, and when people click on apply, they will redirect it to the website, that's your internal website that you have published your job. So you can publish your jobs on LinkedIn as well. So this will list all the job positions that we have. And you can also, so there are different ways to collect also the job applications. So you can collect them by defining an email alias for your job. So when CVs are sent to this email address, it will create a candidate record, an applicant record inside of the relevant job position. So you can collect your CVs like that. You can collect your CVs through LinkedIn, through website. So you have different ways. And let me go to the settings of one job position. So we named our position, we select our department. If we want, we can have an email alias. We can say, please send your CVs to this email alias. And we can select a responsible person for the recruitment. And we can also say for the offer in your company, you have an HR responsible. You can also select it. And you can say how many expected employees, how many people that you would like to hire. You can also select it. And for the employee request part, as I showed you on the employee app, you can say it's enough for HR to approve, or the manager and HR should both approve. So you decide your employee request process. And from here, you can state that it is basically to be displayed on the website as well. It says whether it's on-site, hybrid, remote, so it will be labeled as like that. And for the job details, you can have a short description and you can have the full job description like written there, and it will be on the website part as well. So let me show you how it is seen on the website part. So now this job is published on the website part, and as you can see, it is on site. The place is the United States claimant, and this is the position, and people can come here. They can write their name, their email, their phone, and they can attach their resume through here. So they can apply for this job, and it will be all the jobs that you have published will be listed under there. As you can see, these are 2 published ones. So this is how it will be looking on the website part. When you have published your job, you can design it, customize it however you like on the website part. And then for the AI part, this is like, as I said, as a whole new topic. But basically you define whether you want AI to also evaluate CVs, automatically score them based on the prompts, based on the configuration that you give. So it will give you a score, let's say between 1 and 100, based on this job details that you have entered here. If like knowing German is very important to you and you stated that, like give 15 points if they know like C1 German or if their native language is German. So the AI will calculate the CV according to that and give you a feedback with a score on that. And you can also use the custom prompt that you have. And for the interview process, you can say, so for this stage, let's say for the CV screening, I will be using this language proficiency interview plan. So you can also define your stages in your interview plans. And when the applicant is in this stage, an automatic like link will be sent for them to take the AI language proficiency interview. So you can also automate your recruitment processes, and this is where you can configure them. And as you can see, we have the published LinkedIn there. And when I click on it, it says me like, please set an expiration date, and then I can publish it on LinkedIn. And then it will be on live in LinkedIn after a while. And then on the start buttons, you can see your applications, like how many applicants you have, whether you have hired any employees. Are there any employees that is occupying the job right now, the documents, and whether it's published on the website or not. So this is all you can configure from there. And for the applications, you can always follow them from here. You can see all the applications that are here, how many of them are new, CV screening. You can group them by job, by degree. You can view them from there. And you can also follow up the AI interviews, whether like Andrew finished the AI interview, which is like a final score of 80. And this is like the transcript of the interview. So you can follow up the AI interviews through there. And then all the resumes that you have collected will be listed there. And you can also download them again. And there's like index content from the CV that is listed there. And you can also see all the resumes and letters there. And you can group it by like creation month, their like owner or their type, whether they're like Word, PDF, can view them from here. And again, we have the employee request that we have did on the employee app site. So we can also follow them from here. Do we have any employee requests? What is their status? We can follow them from here. And for the reports part, same as in every other module, you can have different measures. I wanted to report by expected salary or final score in the AI interview or the proposed salary. So we can view all of these. And on the application cards, there are some fields as well. So when an applicant comes, we can see, are there any similar applications that this person have done before? It is, I think, very important in recruitment as well, whether they applied before or applied to other jobs and rejected and why. So we can always see them. Do we have any meetings that we have done? And what are the documents that Saleh uploaded? And so we can see the applicant name, their email, their degree, their phone, which position that they have applied, and where they apply, like through LinkedIn, through website, and what is their expected salary, and what did we propose to that candidate, and when is their availability, whether they have a notice period or not, when they can start. We can have all these information. And if they have some like AI calculation, I can see it. Their CV score is, I don't know, 80. And here are the remarks from the AI. So the AI will say, give a feedback. This person fits the job because blah, blah, blah. This person is not a fit, blah, blah, blah. So I can view all of these. And if they have an AI interview, it will be also listed there. And for the configuration part, for the recruitment side, the settings is one of the important one is the online posting. So if you want to publish the jobs online, you need to enable this setting. And also the LinkedIn integration if you also would like to publish your job on the LinkedIn site with the company ID provided by LinkedIn. So these are the two important settings there. Do we have any questions until now? HR is a very intense module, so it takes a while to also explain. Okay, I think everything's good. Then moving on to the stages. So you can define as many stages as you would like. Let's say, for example, for CV screening, you can define whether a stage is an applicant hire stage or not. So this is important for filtering and other stuff as well. So you can mark a stage as like hired, like a closed stage. And also what you can do is that you can say for CV screening, I only want HR manager and HR specialist. So only those two jobs will have this stage. Or I can say for CV screening, I will exclude sales manager. So the sales manager job position won't be having the CV screening stage. So you can also define job specific as well. And for the automated actions, as you can remember, we can send like the AI interviews. So for this, as you can see, we have a ready-to-use template interview request AI. So when we have defined the interview stage on the card that I showed you, like trigger this stage, send this interview link. So first, after doing that, we need to select a send stage email. So inside of this email, the relevant AI interview link will be listed. Or not AI interview, but so this is CV screening. So I want to send a quiz. So when I move the candidate to this stage, an automatic quiz survey will be sent to this applicant. And also I can select the quiz from here as well. So send this quiz, send a general knowledge quiz. So I can also do it quiz specifically or more like a template specifically. And what else I can do is that, as you may remember, we have like meeting types. So we can create a meeting type like HR interview stage. And inside of this meeting type, we're doing in the calendar part. When I created a meeting type, I can say it will be like 1 hour and I configure everything. And then I can add it here. And with the appointment template, I can directly send this to my candidate. They can open the email, they can select the time that I'm available, and they can immediately set up a meeting with me. So it is really makes the job easier for HR people as well. So you don't have to like back and forth. Are you available this time, or that time? So they can directly reach your calendar and have a meeting with you based on the defined dates that you have configured on the meeting type. So basically you can configure your stages like that, and you can use it job specific. You can send some automated actions on the stages. And for configuration, again, we have tags to use on the job positions. Again, we have the degrees like bachelor, graduate. You can add more degrees from here. And again, the job positions, you can also add the job positions from here as well. So you can create them from there. And the sources of applicants, so you can say, I have a source like Twitter, or I have LinkedIn, and you can use it from there. And then departments, you can also create your departments from here. And then the AI interview plans, as I mentioned, and the autonomous agents. So you can configure the AI interviews from there to use during your AI interviews, and then the autonomous agents, like calculating the applicant score, like the visual impression notes, language score, CV scoring. So you will have the autonomous agents there. So this is all for the recruitment part. Do we have any questions about recruitment? Everything's good? Okay, then. Then let's move on to the more like the assets part. So as we know from like the help desk, we can define our assets from here. We can enter like the purchase record and what is the product and whether there's a warranty or not, what is the purchase date, what is the quantity. So we can keep track of our assets from here. And also we can see, like, other than purchase record, we can also see the assets itself through there, grouped by like the assets. How many Logitech keyboards do I have? How many of them are in use or in storage? I can keep track of all these from there. And then again, just like in the help desk, like incident and service, asset history, which asset is assigned to whom. So like Kane Goodman has 2 assets, one in use, one is unassigned now. So you can keep track all of the assets from here for your employees. And again, just like in the help desk cloud, we have like the asset products that we can configure from there. So we can create new assets through here that we have seen before. And also like any asset tickets, if we have the help desk, any types that you have defined for your assets, and like any tags that you would like to give to your assets, and also the service categories as well that we have seen on the help desk. And for the settings, it is same with the help desk. You can have an asset request approval person, and you can have an expiration reminder that you have defined here, like 1 day, 10 day, or 2 days. So this is same with the help desk cloud. So by here you can keep track of those assets, and on the asset itself you can also come here. Of course, you need to have a serial number for your asset, and then also you can assign it to the person that you would like to assign from here as well. And you can definitely print and handover form from here as well. But as I showed you, you can do it on the employee card as well. So, and again, we can see the assigned history, and employees can also request assets for themselves on their employee cards. So they can go and I broke my keyboard, I need a keyboard, so they can also request assets for themselves. And then the responsible person can assign the asset when they get the notification of the request. So it works both ways. And since we have talked about the assets, I'm not going to get in deeper since we have seen in the help desk cloud. And we have the leave management. So it opens up with a calendar overview. So it will be showing the people who have requested their leaves, whether it's a birthday leave, whether it's like a compassionate leave, or they're using their legal leave rights. So it will be all listed on this calendar. And for the configuration part, you can define like different activity types that you can define on the log chatter. So this is what it is used for. And then the leave types, the most important part is here. So this is where you define the leaves that you will allocate to your employees. For example, for legal leaves, you can give the leaves to a department, so you don't have to do it individually. So you can have give group leaves to a marketing department, sales department, so you don't have to do it individually. So when we're creating a leave, of course, we give a name to our leave type. We say whether it is paid or unpaid. We need to define that as well. And then the leaves will be in days or in hours. So for compassionate leaves, let's say you can request it for hours, but for legal leaves, it will be days. And when you select hours, you can select whether they can also request in minutes. And for days, you always have the option to compute half day. So when the employee clicks on half day, let's say they will be using their leaves until like midday. So they can request a half day with that button on the leave request. And you select whether it's a leave or other type of thing that they're absent, so you can define it there. And since, let's say it was a sick leave, you can require a document, let's say a doctor report signed by the doctor. And you can also automate your leave processes. Let's say they uploaded the document, they uploaded their doctor report. The AI can scan the document and whether the AI approves or rejects the leave request. So you can also automate your leave processes with AI as well. And for the time of requests, you can say it should be approved by employee's manager or only by the time of officer that I have chosen, or both of them should approve it, or no validation is needed. And you may have some special leave types that are valid during certain intervals. So you can give a start and end date to your leave. And you can say this is a meeting type that is leave, and color in the report will be red, blue, black. So you can also define how it should be seen on the side as well. And then if you have enabled the timesheets, you can also generate timesheets for your leave requests. So it will be selected as default, but you can change it. But basically what does it do is that it creates an internal project and tasks, and it enters a leave request there. So whenever a leave is approved, it will be logged as timesheet, as you can see. So you can keep track of these as well. So it generates a timesheet for you to keep track as a project as a task in a project. And then allocation requests, the way you give it to your employees. Let's say you have 20 days legal leaves, you need to allocate them, you need to give them to your employees. So this is where you can set it, whether employees can allocate, for example, for birthday leave. It's like once in a year. So the employee can say, okay, 8th of January is my birthday and I want this leave. Please allocate it to me. So they can also request that leave type when they are making a leave request. They can select it from the list. Or you can say, no, a time officer should allocate them, just like legal leave, so the employee cannot request it. And again, for the approval, who will be approving the allocation request, whether their manager, whether or both the responsible and the manager. So you can define it from here. And whether you would like to allow them to get in minus. They have 20 days of legal leave. They finished all of them. They can still request more leaves to get like in minus. So you can also give that option to them as well by checking this box. And weekend deduction, when you enable it, you say like you work on weekends or weekdays, so you can also say, okay, deduct only Saturdays, or deduct Saturday and Sunday both. So you can also configure the weekends from there based on how your company operates. And from here, you will be seeing the allocated days, how many days that you have allocated to each of your employees, and what are their status. You can follow them. Are there any group leaves that you have allocated? So from here, you can select the leave type and you can say, I want to give it to all my company, or by employee tag. So you can use it there, or by department. So you can give this and you can exclude some employees there. The sales manager, let's say, have a different like leave day. So you can configure this from there when you're allocating it. So for reporting, again, you can have like a leave analysis report, just like this. You have the pivot, and you can also have the calendar to view it. So you can use it for reporting as well. You can have different measures, and you can configure it however you like. And also you can do it by department as well. You can have, I want to have the HR and IT and the leave types that are approved until this day, until this date. So you can print it and then have a report for the leave summary just like that. So you can use it for reporting. And for the manager view, managers can see all requests, all allocations, all leaves. So they can see their leaves that they need to approve, leaves allocation requests that they need to approve, and they can see all leaves and all allocations that are made by employees. And for payroll, they can see leaves requests that needs to be like reported, so they can follow all these from there. And for the employee side, they will be seeing only, of course, their leaves. So they can come here, they can request a new leave by either clicking this or by clicking the calendar, or they can select multi-days by drag and drop. And based on the legal leaves, so basically it will be written as in the brackets like 20 days for legal leaves, or for birthday leave 1 day, or 18 days if they have used the 20. So they will select their legal leaves, they will select their time, whether or it's a half day like this. If it was in hours, they can also select, I want to get a leave from 10 to 12:30. So they can also, if you configure like the hours, they can also select hours. And the system calculates the return date based on the time zone and the company working hours for your company. And the manager will be notified there's a new leave request, please approve it. And again, for the allocation requests, they can come here. They can have an allocation request. So like birthday leave, just 1 day, today is my birthday, and they can request this leave. And when the leave is allocated to them, they can come here and they can create their leave request for their birthday with like 1 day. So this is how you can allocate your leaves and also request leaves, so managers can come, or the responsible person, and then they can configure to allocated leaves from there, and they can approve it. I think this is all for the leave side. So we're out of time actually, but we have the travel and the performance. The HR is a really intense module. So we have, I don't know, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have many modules. So I think we might need a second session for that. I'm sorry to take a lot of your time. Do we have any questions?
Thank you very much, sir.
No, not so far. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, I think we're out of our time. If you have time, I have time. We can keep going. But if you don't have time, we can plan a second session when you're available. Just let me know what time would be the best.
I think we should have a second date or go farther.
Yeah. Okay, then we can plan a second session based on your availability.
Mhm.
So we can accommodate that.
May you make some suggestions to me? I
Of
can
course.
organize a second session.
Okay,
for
when I'm
HR.
sending this meeting record, I will be also suggesting some times. So we can choose one of them.
Great.
And I will be sending the invite.
Thank you.
No problem. Any questions regarding the things that we have talked? No questions, nothing?
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, then thank you so much for your
Nice
time.
afternoon. Yeah.
You
Thank
too,
you.
guys.
Bye bye.
Take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Salai, just a question. Did you send
Yeah.
me the mails regarding the login?
Yes, I did just before the meeting.
Okay, I did